Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video we will be looking at AQA Alevel Psychology 2021 Paper 1 Examplar Answers for Attachment, which you need to know for AQA Alevel Psychology. I hope you enjoy this video and find it helpful. Let's get started. Please note that these answers have been produced with knowledge of the mark scheme but have not been approved by the mark scheme themselves. There are 3 assessment objectives, AOs, in psychology. In this video they are color-coded. AO1 Knowledge, purple. AO2 Application, blue. AO3 Evaluation, red and green. Question 1. Annie feeds her newborn baby regularly and they have formed a strong bond. According to the learning theory of attachment, before any attachment had been formed, the milk Annie gives her baby is best described as, shade 1 box only. 1 mark. A. A conditioned stimulus. B. A neutral stimulus. C. An unconditioned response. D. An unconditioned stimulus. D. An unconditioned stimulus. Question 2. According to the learning theory of attachment, now she has formed an attachment with her baby. Annie is best described as, shade 1 box only. 1 mark. A. A conditioned stimulus. B. A neutral stimulus. C. An unconditioned response. D. An unconditioned stimulus. A. A conditioned stimulus. Question 3. Outline one difference in attachment behaviors shown by infants who have an insecure avoidant attachment and infants who have an insecure resistant attachment. 2 marks. Infants who have an insecure avoidant attachment have low levels of separation anxiety, whereas infants who have an insecure resistant attachment have high levels of separation anxiety. Question 4. These different attachment types were first identified in Ainsworth's strange situation. Evaluate the procedure known as the strange situation. 5 marks. A strength of Ainsworth's strange situation study is that it has real-world application. Understanding attachment behavior has real-world applications that can help improve the relationship that infant and their caregivers have, which could help infants form more successful and secure relationships in adulthood and therefore develop healthier psychologically. Cooper et al., 2005, conducted a study using a sample of infants who had been classified as either insecurely or securely attached and used an intervention strategy called the Circle of Security, which teaches caregivers to be responsive to the distress signals infants give off as well as their understanding of the anxiety children feel. This study found that after the caregivers used the intervention strategy, those who were classified as insecurely attached decreased from 60% to 15% and those classified as securely attached increased from 32% to 40%. This is a strength because it suggests that understanding attachment behaviors can have practical applications in improving the relationships between children and their caregivers, potentially leading to more secure relationships in adulthood and healthier psychological development. The Circle of Security intervention, as demonstrated by Cooper et al., 2005, shows how targeted strategies can positively impact attachment classifications and help caregivers better respond to infants' needs, ultimately fostering more secure attachments. A limitation of Ainsworth's strange situation study is that it breaks ethical guidelines. The infants were purposefully placed in an unfamiliar setting, in order for the observers to measure their levels of separation and stranger anxiety. This intentionally caused emotional and psychological harm to the infants. 20% of the infants cried desperately or for an extended period of time or an excessive amount at one point or other during the study, showing how they were distressed and highlighting how it is ethically inappropriate to deliberately inflict such emotional harm which goes against psychological ethical guidelines. This is a limitation because it suggests that the deliberate emotional distress caused to infants in Ainsworth's strange situation study raises ethical concerns regarding the well-being of the participants. The distress experienced by a notable percentage of infants during the study, as indicated by prolonged crying, emphasizes the ethical implications of deliberately subjecting infants to emotional harm for research purposes. This breach of ethical guidelines highlights the importance of considering ethical considerations in developmental research involving vulnerable populations like infants. Researchers investigated whether the experience of bullying is influenced by attachment type. They interviewed teenagers about their early attachment experiences. Following the interviews, the teenagers were categorized into two groups based on their attachment type. Group 1, secure attachment in childhood. Group 2, insecure attachment, insecure avoidant or insecure resistant, in childhood. During the interview, the teenagers were also asked about their experience of bullying. They were categorized as either having had experience of bullying or having had no experience of bullying. Question 5. Which statistical test would be most suitable to analyze the data in this investigation? With reference to this investigation, explain 3 reasons for your choice of test. 7 marks. The statistical test that should be used is chi-squared because the investigation is an experiment, as the researchers are looking for a difference in experience of bullying between teenagers who had a secure or insecure attachment. The association between attachment type and experience of bullying. The experiment design is independent groups, as each teenager cannot appear in more than one category, i.e. secure-insecure, experience of bullying, no experience of bullying. The level of measurement is nominal data, as the data refers to the number of teenagers in each of the 4 categories. Question 6. Discuss the influence of early attachment on childhood relationships. Refer to the likely results of the study in question 5 in your answer. 8 marks. Bowlby's 1969 internal working model forms the basis continuity hypothesis, suggesting that attachments in early life form and act as a template and blueprint for future childhood and later adult relationships. An infant's first relationship with their primary attachment figure leads to the formation of a mental representation or schema of their first relationship. The quality of this attachment is crucial because this will give the infant a template, which will powerfully affect the nature of their future relationships, e.g. friendships, romantic relationship, as a parent. An infant, whose first attachment is a good experience with a loving and reliable attachment figure, will tend to assume this is how relationships are meant to be. They will seek out functional relationships and behave functionally within them, e.g. without being too uninvolved or emotionally close, insecure avoidant attachment, or being controlling and argumentative, insecure resistant attachment. An infant, whose first attachment is a bad experience with a hateful and unreliable attachment figure, will tend to assume this is how relationships are meant to be. This may mean they struggle to form relationships in the first place, or they may not behave appropriately within relationships, displaying insecure avoidant or insecure resistant behavior towards friends and partners. It is likely that the securely attached children are less likely to be involved in bullying than insecurely attached children, who are more likely to either be the victims of bullying or the bullies themselves. Children who are securely attached have developed a positive template, IWM, for future and so are less likely to be involved in bullying. Children who formed an insecure attachment in childhood are more likely to have difficulty fitting in with peers and so may be more inclined to have experienced bullying. Myron Wilson and Smith, 1998, aimed to investigate whether there is a relationship between attachment styles and bullying behavior among children. They conducted their study using a sample of 196 children from ages 7 to 11 from various schools in London. They assessed the children's attachment styles through questionnaires that measured their perceptions of relationships with parents and peers. To evaluate bullying behavior, they employed self-report measures where children indicated their involvement in bullying, either as perpetrators or victims. The researchers also gathered information from teachers to gain additional insights into the children's social interactions. This comprehensive approach allowed them to analyze the links between attachment styles and bullying behaviors effectively. They concluded that secure children were very unlikely to be involved in bullying, insecure avoidant children were most likely to be victims, and insecure resistant children were most likely to be bullies. They concluded that there is a significant relationship between attachment styles and bullying behavior in children. A limitation of research into attachment and later relationships is that it breaks ethical guidelines. Research into attachment and later relationships can break ethical guidelines in several ways. One concern is the potential for psychological harm to participants, particularly when discussing sensitive topics like early attachment experiences. Participants may be required to reflect on painful memories or feelings, which could lead to distress or exacerbate existing psychological issues. Another ethical issue is informed consent. In studies involving children or vulnerable populations, ensuring that participants fully understand the nature of the research and its potential risks can be challenging. Additionally, the confidentiality of sensitive personal information must be maintained, which can be difficult in studies that rely on sharing personal histories. Lastly, there is the risk of labeling individuals based on their attachment styles, which could lead to stigma or discrimination. If research findings are misinterpreted or misused, they could negatively impact how individuals are viewed in their relationships or parenting abilities. Overall, ethical considerations are crucial in ensuring that research does not cause harm and respects the dignity of all participants. This is a limitation because it suggests that the complexities of human relationships and psychological development may not be fully understood through attachment research alone. It implies that there are various factors influencing later relationships that might not be accounted for, such as environmental influences, individual differences, and the impact of supportive relationships. This oversimplification can lead to misinterpretations of how early attachment experiences shape adult relationships, potentially overlooking the resilience and growth that can occur in different contexts. Thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more content like this. Bye.